Hey there, Juggies, your old pal McJuggerNuggets here. Welcome to the Juggies Powwow. Even transition that into a tongue roll, guys. Oh shit. It looks like I'm in an insane asylum right now, guys. This is just a backdrop of the room. I decided I am going to do this powwow from where we'll be streaming at tomorrow. You guys actually have around 24 hours left to enter into the PS4 giveaway, which I have right here. I didn't even realize these have Nuketown. A classic Call of Duty multiplayer map, which is amazing, and there's zombies on it. So that's included with these 3 bundles. But yeah, you have 24 hours left to enter in. So please drop a like on this video and find the official giveaway post on my Twitter and Instagram, guys. I'm really looking forward to the stream and just getting back to life as it was before I was forced to get a job. But this leads me into a powwow on an odd topic: quitting. Before we get into it, I just want to say, guys, I know this video, for some, you guys don't like it. It's pretty boring. Basically, just me sitting here talking. It can get really dry, but through this, I want you guys to take something from it. I only do these when I feel like I actually have some advice to offer, or I'm going through something in my life. I feel like there's a lesson to be learned, or something that I just picked up, and I learned a lot about quitting and how it can actually be a good thing, although most people think of it as something bad. Let me just start off by saying 9 out of 10 times that I've quit something, I've benefited from it. We've always heard that quitting equals failure. If you quit something, you lose. I mean, technically, yes. If you quit something, you're technically not going to succeed or win at that one particular thing. But the whole idea of quitting is that you realize you didn't want it that bad, or you didn't want it at all, so you quit. Thus, you are then happy or benefiting from quitting the thing that you didn't really want to do. However, even if that's why you quit, people on the outside will look at you and say, wow, you can't be committed, you'll never be successful because you just quit all the time. Here's where I tell you, f off. Those people are wrong. You're wrong if you think quitting's a bad thing. I mean, a perfect example would be somebody who quit smoking. You're quitting a negative behavior. Now, that's something negative that we've seen for sure. It is a very unhealthy habit. However, what if it comes to, say, me quitting my job at the farm? People on the outside will look at that, and they'll look at it as if it were them, and they may want the job, or they may want the money from the job, or they may think having a job is productive, and you know, it is. However, people on the outside are me, and I know from quitting this job, I will be happier from it, and I can pursue something I want to do. Therefore, quitting the farm job was the greatest decision I have made. A few years ago, when I quit my job at the bank to pursue YouTube, once again, that was the greatest decision I had ever made too, because it was like, it was something I wasn't happy doing. I didn't feel right. I didn't see it really going anywhere. I was sucked at math, and it just was annoying getting up early and having to tie the noose around my neck with the tie and the dress shirt, and it just wasn't me. The day after I quit, I felt so good about myself. However, I got so much shit from people. Like, why the f you quit your job after like 2 months? Because I wasn't happy and it's what I wanted to do, and it didn't care what other people said. I was happier. It got to a point where you know yourself well enough, you know what you love, you know what you should be doing, so then you can quit. It's almost like a cost versus benefits. The benefits of quitting outweigh the cost, so I'm gonna quit. But then society, for whatever reason, discourages quitting, you could even draw it to stupid things, like, say, clearing your plate. Say you get a big-ass foot-long cheesesteak, right, and you're eating it, and you only finish half of it. You will actually get made fun of, insulted, or you won't even be allowed to leave your effing dinner table until you finish it. Until you finish it. Finish everything, don't quit, you need to clear your plate. Even if it's going past the point of you still wanting to eat, you feel compelled to finish it, or else you'll be labeled a quitter, you gave up on it, you didn't carry through, and you're a failure at life because you didn't eat your whole fucking cheesesteak. This can also be drawn into relationships, where you feel like you're so far into a relationship and you feel like quitting now would be like giving up. Or even like if you're gambling and you quit when you have like a $10 loss, you feel like a loser. Instead, you end up getting $100 down the hole, and then you feel like even more of a quitter if you quit, and it's just like, oh, what the fuck? I'm here to tell you guys, quitting is not a bad thing. If you feel like you need to quit something, That's not bad at all. I think you should be able to trust yourself and know yourself well enough to know when you should or shouldn't quit something, and also try not to base it off of other people's decisions or opinions on what you should or shouldn't do. I was faced with a hard decision. I had played soccer my whole entire life, and then it came time midway through high school where I just had this feeling that I wanted to quit. My dad kept wanting me to play soccer. He's like, you need to play soccer, you know, it's a man sport, you need to get outside and do shit like that instead of playing video games. So it got to the point where I was like, you know what? The coach is an asshole. I hate the coach. I want to quit soccer, which killed me to say, but I found myself being less happy. I found myself dreading going to practice in the games, and it shouldn't be something you dread doing. So I quit. And I got a lot of flack for it. From my dad, I got it from, you know, my friends on the soccer team. They were upset. But then I actually inspired a few other people to quit the team, and it was like, wow, I feel much better coming home from school and not having to go to soccer practice. That means it was a good choice. But other people wouldn't look at that, but that can't matter. It shouldn't matter because it's your life. Live it how you want to. And the reason I'm saying all this is just because, like, it took me a bit to realize, but I was lying to myself. I told myself it wouldn't get to this point again, but I was letting other people control my life, and it built up to a point where I wanted to quit, and I was very much afraid what would happen if I did. But then I decided, you know what? I can't let that matter. I need to quit and stay true to myself and do what I love to do. Granted, I haven't seen the consequences for my actions yet. It was nice that Uncle Chris was understanding for me quitting. I think he also, there are some people that will support you, that will see, okay, I think this isn't a good fit for you. I think you should do what you love, and if you don't love this, you know, follow your heart. And quitting has been so far so good. I can't be a quitting advocate and then you guys quit something that could be a good thing, because for sure, you know, quitting can also be bad. But I'm sick of it being looked at as always bad. You could have a really high-paying job that you dread going to, but you need it to support your family, and then I guess, you know, with some things that feel necessary, you can get almost locked into something. Like, had I worked at that farm any longer, I could have got locked into it, I could have got comfortable, and then suddenly I would have lost the real me. And it would get to a point of necessity where I would have to work that job, and then suddenly what I want or you know, what I dream of wouldn't matter anymore. So I can see yourself getting stuck, and then it becomes a point where logically it doesn't make sense to quit, but in your heart you feel like you should. That's a tough situation, and you know, just in this point in my life, I have to go with do what you love, even if it doesn't make sense or the money might not be there. I have to go with that. I mean, you have this one life, you might as well do what you love, because you can fail at what you don't love. I totally stole that, but it's true. It's an interesting concept when you draw it into many other things. Like, say just like me playing video games. Like, okay, there can get to a point where you need to stop. Like, I'll play, there used to be days where I'd spend 10 hours playing video games, and it was like I'm literally getting nothing else done. It got to a point where I was like, okay, maybe I need to take a step back and quit, because it can be too much. Or it's like drinking alcohol, you know? You need to know when to quit, because if you don't, you're going to drink yourself to death, or you're just going to get so stupid drunk you'll end up, you know, having sex with someone you didn't think was possible, or you might do something really dumb like get naked and like jump off a building. Who knows? These are things that could happen, extreme circumstances, but if you don't quit at that time, then you're going to screw yourself. So you almost need to quit, and that comes with a moderation thing too. I think the key to knowing when to keep going and when to quit, I wouldn't say is when things get hard, because things are going to get difficult, things are going to get hard in your life, no matter what it is. It'll get to a point where you're going to want to quit. There's been things that I've wanted to quit plenty of times, but I knew I had to keep going, because you're like you're holding on to something. And you really got to pinpoint what that something is and how much it matters to you to decide if you're going to keep going. But, you know, even when it matters so much, you're going to have these doubts and want to quit. It's just, how much are you willing to take? What matters most to you? And when are you willing to, I guess, kind of like what my mom said when she came by that day. It's like, when are you willing to let go? And what are you willing to let go? And I think if it's truly meant to be, you're gonna feel it. And I think that's what I felt tugging at me while working at the farm. I was like, I feel like I'm letting go videos. I feel like I'm giving up on you guys. I'm gonna give up the farm so I can go back to paying attention to you guys more and making content. A couple of years ago, I had a traumatic brain injury from when we filmed a video of 21 shots, and I've brought this up many times. If you guys know me, you've been following the channel for a while. Thank you guys, by the way. We have an influx of subscribers, I think, for the giveaway, like over 10,000 of you guys. Welcome to the channel, or maybe you've been watching for a while, decided not to subscribe, but I got this brain injury, and then since that time, I stopped drinking. I haven't drank alcohol in almost 2.5 years, and, you know, why did I quit? I quit because I felt like it was an unhealthy habit, and on top of, I was afraid of me getting another brain injury from being stupid while drinking, or just how I would be under the influence of alcohol, so I kind of stopped. And the only reason I quit was because I had strong, very strong motivators. However, before that, it was like, you know, why would I? It's important to look inside yourself and know, you know, really what you want. And if you can't get that far, at least know what you don't want, and then you can think about quitting. And I'm, you know, I don't expect, like, a lot of you guys from this video to be like, you know what, Jesse's fucking right. I'm gonna quit my job right now, or I'm gonna quit going to school or something. There are some things logically that you have to do. It's just you really need to know what drives you. Alright, I'm probably gonna end this powwow. I feel like I'm kind of starting to run in circles, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Actually, no, you know what? I got one final point to make. There's probably so much more. Always when I'm finished filming these, I'm like, oh, that's a good point, Jess. I could have said that. Let's think of a video game. That my mind works in video games. It's sad, you may think, but I think it's pretty awesome. Think about a video game and quitting in a video game. You know, it's great in a video game because you can technically save the game before you quit, and then you can come back to where you left off. In life, you can't really save and quit. You know, it keeps going whether you want it to or not. It's like those Mario levels, or like fucking like Crash Bandicoot or something. That screen's moving whether you want it to or not. I mean, technically, if you die, at least you can still go back to a certain spawn or point in the level. So that's, I mean, hey, that's why video games are great, right? But it forces you to move. You gotta keep moving. So, you know, when it comes to video games, you can pause it, you can save it, that's all well and good. You can go back to reset to a certain spawn. But there's times, though, where you kind of get bored of a game. Nobody's playing the same game for their whole life. And really, that's an interesting point. Nobody's ever playing the same game their whole life. You're floating from game to game, and you could either draw that to you're floating from partner to partner, or you're floating from job to job, or you're floating from place to place. Or you're even floating in your own mind where you want to do this, but then you want to do that, and you want to do this. And I think that's totally fine. We're changing every single day, and that's acceptable. So with that game analogy, I mean, you know, we played Family Feud for Super Nintendo last night. We're probably never going to touch that game again. But we're going to quit and go on to something new and different and exciting, and then we're going to quit that game and play something else. It's interesting, though, at what point does it get to the quitting point? You know, you're playing Fallout 4, and then, you know, you get to a point in the game that gets really hard, really frustrating, and then you want to quit. Luckily, you can go back to it when you're ready. Some things in life you can't do that, or once again with the save points. But you quit when it gets difficult, or you quit when you get bored. Now, sometimes, like there's been times in the Call of Duty veteran campaigns where I'm like, fuck this shit, I'm so fucking done. I want to quit. However, I remember at that time, like Call of Duty 2, I wanted to beat the game on veteran so I could get all those achievements. I was motivated by the gamer score, or you could attribute that to maybe say money or something like that, or like fame or whatever you want to do. So that motivated me to get past the hard stuff. But if you're just playing a game now, like say Fallout 4, you know, it's a really long game and you're gonna be grinding at it for a while, or you even want to be a pro gamer, you know, there's times where you have to call it quits for a day and come back to it, or even call it quits for good. And then, you know, it's just an interesting analogy. And I think you could compare it to a lot of things in our lives, because it's all about, you know, it's very much the fundamental human nature. It's like, do you keep going or do you stop? Do you keep moving or do you stop? Are you gonna quit, or are you trying to think of what the opposite of quit is? And some may say succeed, but it's just keep going. But even then, I mean, quitting is keep going, because you're still gonna, so it's interesting. I keep turning off and turning on the camera again because I keep coming up with more stuff, but I like that game analogy where it's like, with a game that's really difficult and you want to quit, aka it's no longer worth it to you, or maybe it's just no longer fun. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Video games is very much about having a good ass time, whether it's with your friends or whether it's just by yourself. And it's funny because, like, there is that term rage quit. You're just so frustrated, and you can rage quit in life for sure, but you could even take an extreme rage quit and like literally quit life, but the whole point of it is to enjoy yourself. And if you're not having a good time in life, I feel like you need to quit the things that are draining you. Quit the things that make you not want to live. Quit the things that you're not having fun with, because isn't that the point, to be having fun and happy? I think that's what it is, and you need to decide what that means for you. If you find there are people in your life, or things in your life, or situations in your life that you really just can't stand, quit them. And find the things that you do enjoy doing and that you could keep doing for a long time. And then that may change. You might want to quit that and then do something else, and there's nothing wrong with that. Do not feel bad about that. It's just like when a game gets stale, and, you know, sometimes you'll find yourself going back to games, though, which is interesting. You know, there's so many times where I'll go back to, say, like Pikmin 2 or an old Mario game for Super Nintendo, like Super Mario RPG, my favorite game, or even Halo 2 when Master Chief Collection came out. I loved the nostalgia and going back to these things. So even once I quit them technically long ago, I still like to revisit them. That's not something you can always do in life. You quit a job, chances are you're probably not going to get to go back. Or you break up with a person, chances are you're not going to get to go back to that. So it's a little more extreme, and it's a little scarier and more daunting when it comes to quitting these things. But if you truly believe that, you know, there's something else that could be more exciting, more fun out there, something that, you know, is just a better fit. It's just after I quit the farm, my brain's been racing, and I want to commit myself to this idea where I don't want to be doing something that I don't enjoy doing. And people will judge me for it, and people will judge you for your decisions and the times that you quit or you decide to keep doing something. But if it makes you happy, then that's all that matters. And I'm happy. I'm really happy that I quit the farm. Alright, Jays, so I hope you took something from this. If you didn't, I think it was thought-provoking enough. Maybe you can discuss it in the comments below. Leave me some positive comments. Leave me a like. The giveaway is still going on. I'm looking for those winners. Stream in 24 hours. Twitch.tv/McJuggerNuggets. Don't forget to subscribe for more content. Twitter, Instagram, links in the description. Come on, guys. Subscribe to McJuggerNuggets. I love this pillow. I forgot it was in here. Well, there'll be a vlog coming out later tonight. We got to get everything set up in here. We might use one of these end tables. Get my laptop rigged up. We'll probably get the Super Nintendo put away, and we'll rig up the PS4. This will actually be the first time I'll ever be streaming PS4, and we'll be picking up with The Last of Us, so I'm super excited about that. I'll talk to you guys more later tonight. I love you, Juggies to death, and don't forget to keep it rigid. And please don't quit watching me on YouTube. That's not what I meant from this whole part. Don't quit watching me. Gosh, please don't do that. That would be really stupid. See you guys.